There has been much excitement over the position of the stars on September 23, 2017. There are normally 9 stars above the head of the constellation Virgo, but because of the position of 3 planets there will be 12 on this date, leading people to refer to this prophecy. REVEL80IO 12 King James Version, KJV. 12 And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 2 And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Another factor in the addition of the 3 naked eye planets is Leo above the head of Virgo. The videos promoting the supposed sign claim that the constellation Leo has 9 stars. So the addition of these 3 wandering stars, in quotations, brings the total number of stars in Leo above the head of Virgo to 12, with the 12 stars forming the crown of the woman in the sky, according to Revelation 12:1. Except that Leo has more than 9 stars. Where did the people touting this supposed fulfillment of prophecy get the idea that Leo has 9 stars? Every presentation of the September 23rd event that I have seen has used the popular Stellarium software package to illustrate the events of September 23rd. Sure enough, the lines connecting the stars of Leo into an outline of a line include 9 stars. However, even the Stellarium display shows other stars in Leo that are not connected by the lines. And different depictions of Leo connect different numbers of stars. For instance, the monthly star chart in April 2017 issue of Sky and Telescope magazine on pages 42 and 43 connect 13 stars with lines. The star chart at this website connects 10 stars. None of these charts connect to a line to Omicron Leonis, the star that forms the front paws of Leo.
On this date, the sun will be in the constellation Virgo, the Virgin, along with the moon near Virgo's feet. Additionally, Jupiter will be in Virgo, while the planets Venus, Mars, and Mercury will be above and to the right of Virgo in the constellation Leo.
When we go into something with a mindset, and in this case it's a prophecy, then we can make the evidence fit that absolutely perfectly. When you go in looking for something, Tony, like these 12 stars on the head, then it's very easy to go with that 9-star constellation in Leo and never question it, right? Because you've ticked a box. It's fitting that prophecy. And this is why it's so important never to kind of go into this research with any preformed ideas. You have to follow the evidence as opposed to making the evidence fit.
In brief, Jupiter orbits our sun every 12 years. In Virgo, it appears. Now, if you look at the configuration in Stellarium, it looks pretty clear. Even if you go to stargazers, it looks pretty clear. But as Dr. Faulkner points out, what is going to appear in the heavens today and tomorrow basically will not be seen from the Earth, because it happens when the sun is up and it is blotted out by the sun. The whole point of signs in the stars, signs in the heavens, is that they are visible to man on the Earth as they occur, so that they have their message conveyed to mankind. Subject to interpretation, depending upon who you ask, what sources you're looking at, what software programs you're using, historical data and its sources as it was derived from, are all subject to interpretation. What we're getting at here is that there's an awful lot of weight placed to whether or not there's a fixed number of stars that define a crown, that define an alignment of planets and stars, the numbers of stars, their configurations. The issue here is that the numbers can vary based upon the research and the researchers as a group that are coming to their own conclusions. Every researcher can have their own conclusion. So to take just one source like Stellarium and run with it is going to lead to problems developing.
With the sun in Virgo and Leo above that, then we're not going to see any of this great sign in the sky, and the only place that this sign in the sky exists is on a computer monitor. Now, I would imagine, like I was sharing with you, Anthony, that if there is to be signs in the sky, it's going to be something that's totally out of the ordinary. And this has been very predictable, this whole...
But because we are talking about the position of the stars, how can astrology not be relevant? Well, no one that I know has mentioned that this is near the major astrological alignment of the year in relation to this. Jupiter opposite Uranus, the 28th of September 2017. Jonathan Keener was Britain's favourite astrologer read in Australia as well, who died in 2016, but his legacy is continued by his nephew Oscar. Here is what Oscar says about this major aspect. And, when the Jupiter-Uranus opposition forms for the final time, which will be their most intense meeting until the middle of the next decade, they do so in the company of a Mars-Venus conjunction, urging us to chase after our ideals. The first time meeting of these two giants of the solar system was at the end of 2016. Venus made a supportive link to the incorrigible Jupiter. During the second opposition, in March, Venus will be stationary just as Mars, the planet of lust and desire, makes a conjunction with Uranus. And then finally, in September, as the final opposition arrives, Venus and Mars are entering the throes of passion in their annual conjunction. Some people may be worried that Uranus' influence could bring a period of difficult change. You might also fear that the process of a break through your inner emotional lives may also bring pain and sorrow. Do not fear, though your heart may swell, be surprised, and skip a beat, no matter how wild the ride. You'll be glad you took the plunge this year. Also, Jonathan thought the eclipse was going to be so important that he recorded video horoscopes for every sign before he died.
Another one, it's absurd. Astrology. An astrologer, that's disgusting, How can you be a Christian if you know about astrology and accept astrology and work as an astrologer and use astrology? Well, how about it? How about the Bible being packed with astrological allusions? From the moment that Christ died, there was an eclipse, which is the heavens saying death of the king and the rebirth of the king after the eclipse. The Magi, astrologers. In the Psalms, it talks about the heavens and his handiwork. And the Genesis, the signs. And the fact that the whole thing of astrology is it points to God, as is absolutely clear. Astrology is important.
This is David Cameron. He has a friend who can read ancient Hebrew and is working on a new translation of the Bible. David is an astrologer.
I think we are on the verge of, if we're not already in it, the Epiphania. Now, the Epiphania isn't the Epiphany. The Epiphania is when people across the world recognize the importance of the Son of God. And then it says, the Epiphania, i.e. blazing forth of his glory, is the great foundation stone upon which God's government in the earth, i.e. kingdom of God, will be established. The world. And I think it's just very appropriate to talk about that right now, because we are, I think we are on the verge of, if we're not already in it, the Epiphania. Now, the Epiphania isn't the Epiphany. The Epiphania is when people across the world recognize the importance of the Son of God. 23rd of March 2023 is the day when this challenging cycle of Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus in Aries comes to an end. And as I've explained in my book, God Makes His Move, which of course you can download for free from my website, because it's important for everybody to read that. That's why it's free and freely available. It's also useful on a PDF, isn't it, when you want to do, it's like an index when you want to search for words. But anyway, it's all explained in there. And that date marks what I think is the beginning of the 490-year Aeon, because there is another event exactly 490 years to the day. So you get this bookmarked 490 years, which astrologically has all the colouring, if you like, all the flavour, all the qualities of the kingdom of God, which is God's sovereign rulership through Christ from the heavens over the nations here. So the 23rd of March 2023 is an extremely important day astrologically. 190 years after the 23rd of March 2023, the astrological implications there, as I've explained in the book, seem very much to point towards thereabouts the return of Christ.